What's up, guys? This is Corey Baker from Baker Forge and Tool. In my business, we do tons of heavy grinding every single day, and we needed a grinder that could take abuse and keep on trucking without slowing down billet production. The Ameribraid variable speed 2x72 is just that. All heavy-duty parts and framing with well-thought-out accessories that are easy to use and not bogged down with lots of tiny parts. By far, the best accessory item that Ameribraid sells is their surface grinding attachment. It is absolutely foolproof and the best in the industry. With quick-release magnet system, there is no prying your workpiece off the platen. Very fast to slap a billet or a knife onto the table, engage magnets, and start surfacing with precise increments. On top of all of this, their customer support is outstanding. Eric and Kevin are always available and fast to help with any situation. If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line grinder, or maybe just an accessory to add to your existing setup, go to Ameribraid.com and use the code HUSTLE100 for $100 off any grinder package. All right, next up, the Hustle and Grind Podcast.
Fuck that theme song. Let's roll right into it. You got me, Ryan Chadbourne Knife Works, here with Noah Bloomberg of the Eniat River Forge. And this week, we got Mike Jones of Mike Jones Knife and Tool. Mike Jones!
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming on short notice. We got ghosted by our booked guest, son of a bitch.
Welcome.
And yeah, I had days and days. Yes, I hope he's okay. I'm sure he's fine. But I had days and days and days because I was like calling him and like, oh, he's not answering me. He's not answering me. But I was holding out hope. So then, being the procrastinator that I am, I scrambled at the last minute to get you on.
Meanwhile, Noah's texting you every single day.
Yeah. Who's our guest? Who's our guest? I'm like, I don't know yet.
Was it Nick? Was it Nick Tobin? He's probably out stand-up paddleboarding or something.
No, it wasn't Nick Tobin.
Does he do stand-up paddleboarding? I didn't know that.
I don't know. You got a kayak or something. It's basically a sit-down paddleboard.
I was gonna say my wife's really big into stand-up paddleboarding. I don't know any guys that are. That was not an insult to any of you guys out there that are into stand-up paddleboarding. Don't DM me. I'm sorry. Okay, that was not a stereotyping.
I think the guys who are into it are into the girls who are into it. Would be my guess.
That's probably true.
That'll happen. I tried it once. It's actually harder than it looks.
It's super hard. I got on my wife's one time and immediately fell off.
I can balance okay. Just not on a kid's scooter. That I can't do, but I can stand on a paddleboard.
Jeez, we should have had Honor back on this weekend so he could say stuff about your nipple popping out, Noah. I see your nipple.
Oh, geez, I'm so sorry for being immodest for the camera there.
Jesus, Mike looks unimpressed.
You got to get a hold of Ameribraid and get one of those sweet sleeved T-shirts that Ryan's rocking there.
I know. I need an Ameribraid T-shirt.
You know, like some of the T-shirts, we all accumulate T-shirts from doing this, and some of them are shit. This is one of the thickest, nicest T-shirts that I've ever owned. So if you're looking for a nice, good T-shirt, hit up Ameribraid. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, you get a free one with a surface grinder. Those surface grinders look nice,
don't they?
I know. I need to get one of those for sure. But I apologize for my attire today. Luckily, the listeners, most of them can't see me, but it's been about like 95 degrees here, and I've been working in a shop all day with no AC. And in the summertime, I'm not a big fan of sleeves, so all of my shirts that have reached a certain age, the sleeves just get sliced off and they just get shredded. So it's just what happens.
Yeah, you guys are lucky I'm wearing clothing at all right here. It's hot up here in Canada right now.
I have a coworker who cut
Honor
the sleeves
came
off.
on basically naked, so you're looking great, man.
He did too. His whole chest was hanging out. He's like, "Oi!" He's a great guy.
I just about fell out of my chair when he showed off his shorts with his wife's face on the front of them.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
Yeah. Did you guys catch me on
delivery? There was awesome.
Did you guys catch me on their podcast?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, I was on Fire and Steel. It was pretty good. It was just me and Honor. And
I listened to most of it. Unfortunately, work got in the way. People kept trying to talk to me, which really pissed me off. I listened to most of it, but it was basically the bro down British version.
I was thinking that too. It was a lot like the Bro Down, but me and Honor haven't known each other for 25 years. And the Bro Down is still going on. We haven't done an episode in a few weeks because Richie's got a lot of shit going on. But as soon as his life calms down, then we'll get back to recording.
Right on.
Not that anybody listens to that show, but it's okay.
But they should.
I do. Other people might. You never know.
We get about 80 downloads an episode. So it's not, it's creeping up there.
Right on. Well, anyways, Mike, how are you, man? Like, no offense there, Ryan, but we got Mike Jones on the podcast, man. What have you been up to, man? I haven't seen a lot of your content lately, and this might just be the algorithm because I've had this happen a lot lately, where I'll be talking to somebody and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen much of your stuff lately," and they're like, "Oh, did you see the thing I posted the other day?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I definitely wish I had." But the one thing that I noticed a lot about your content is you do a lot of those really, or what's the gratuitous handle wipe, where you like to show the handle just sanded, and then you do the swipe with the oil to show off the handle material. Aside from doing some really sick handle wipes, what have you been up to lately, man?
Yeah, it's probably a combination of me not posting as much, and then it's always a battle with the algorithm these days, trying to get your stuff out there. They say that now they're trying to compete with TikTok, so you're supposed to do a lot of reels, but that doesn't even seem to help. So who knows? I'm sick of fighting with it. It's been like 6 years. I'm over it. So I just put up what I can when there's something that I think is cool worth seeing, and hopefully people see it. But people love the wipey thingy, handle wipes. It seems like I used to tag them all as the best part, because that's like one of my favorite parts of making knives, is that first wipe with the finish on a handle, and you get to see all that contrast and color and grain and everything pop out of it for the first time, all finished. So people love it when I share that with them as well. So it's that one's always popular. But otherwise, now I've had a huge order that I was working on for a big number of knives, so that took up most of my time, and it wasn't a lot of really exciting stuff going on. It was very repetitive, so that didn't end up generating a whole lot of content. But now I'm back into, I got like 4 or 5 custom Damascus blades on the go right now, so they'll be coming along soon. So hopefully they turn out good, and I can post some cool photos and reels about that. Maybe you'll see one.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I noticed you do a lot of like the really bold low layer patterns, which me personally, I have always been more attracted to bold and low layer and something that really catches your eye than some of the higher layer Damascus. And this isn't, a knock on anybody, because it takes a lot of skill and time to do those higher layer and more complicated patterns. But something that's really eye catching is that nice dark etch on like a bold pattern knife. I haven't really seen any of your content around you doing much forging. So do you forge your own Damascus and everything?
Nope. I don't have any of the power tools that would make it effective or efficient, and it would take me, I don't know if you guys forge out much Damascus by hand, but the little bit that I've done took forever and wasn't cost effective at all. So I just been buying billets from MC Knife Works. He's in Alberta, I believe. He's out of Medicine Hat, and so he's doing awesome work. He's been super good. He ships right away to me. Everything that I've had just turned out perfect. He'll do some higher layer stuff too if you ask him, but I'm kind of the same way as you. I like that lower layer stuff. You got to be a little more careful because it shows off scratches a lot more obvious than the higher layer, like that really messy, really tight, high layered stuff. It seems to mask any of those little imperfections, but that low layer stuff, like you'll see if you've got if you still got like a 320 scratch across the dark part, it's going to show up. So you got to be a lot more careful with it. But yeah, it's good. And especially when that pattern comes out nice and dark and you get your etch just right, and it turns out super sweet and you can feel the layers between them. But I mean, I like that higher layer stuff. Nick, actually, Pickle Cutters, he's been doing some super cool Damascus patterns lately. The only stuff I don't really care for is like the really geometric stuff. That's like, I mean, they take a ton of skill to do for sure, but they just, it ends up looking, I don't know, looks more like that mosaic pattern. Like it almost looks like an ancient Egyptian tile floor or something.
Oh, like,
not my favorite.
Like, he's from Maine too.
Talking about
Jason Morrissey.
Yeah, he does a lot of that stuff. Yeah, some of those.
You're talking about like the explosion patterns and then tiled and stacked. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I really like the feathered stuff. Joe Schrum, he's doing like super sick integrated feather patterns and things like that turn out amazing. So that stuff's super cool. I like those patterns, but just the really like mosaic tile floor kind of stuff.
Who was that reel I sent? I sent you a reel the other day. Noah and I were talking off air last week about how as makers, when we're scrolling through Instagram and stuff, we see feather Damascus, we see, random pattern, ladder, raindrop, and it kind of, you become numb to it because we see it all the time. And then I was scrolling through the other day and I found one that was unbelievable. It was fucking beautiful. It looked
Charles Lionheart.
Yes, Charles Lionheart. He did this like feather type Damascus, but it wasn't like a feather where it's got a seam in the middle. The seam was on the spine and it looked like hair coming down.
I think I might have seen that same one actually.
It's
just and all those hairs are super bright, and then the edge was really, really dark.
Yeah, exactly.
So nice. Yeah, it's cool when like something like that's notable to, like you say, people who are just overexposed and overstimulated by that sort of stuff, like constantly. When something really stands out, then it's something special, I guess.
Yeah. If it stands out to one of us, and it's like, holy, most people, they'll see any Damascus if they're not a knife maker and be like, oh my god. But to us, we're like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, they'll see that $200 one at the gas station and think it's fantastic.
But yeah, shout out to Charles Lionheart. That was really a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I'm not even sure how exactly he did it, because again, like the feather itself was very bright. There was obviously a lot of 15 and 20 in that, and it just faded beautifully into that black edge. And it just kind of looked like if you're having a hard time visualizing this to the listeners, essentially like one wing. So the blade shape, if you can imagine the kind of the curved cutting edge is being the outside of the wing where the feathers are coming down. Just gorgeous. Very, very unique and very cool.
Yeah, that one definitely stopped me scrolling for a second too. I had an extra long look at that one.
I've never talked to him, but that'd be interesting to find out how he did that. It almost looks like cable. You know what I mean? Like if he took the strands of a cable.
Maybe we'll have to invite him on the show and ask him about it.
Sneaky. Some guys don't like to share their secrets, though.
I was wondering if maybe it was clad onto the outside somehow.
Yeah, I thought about that as well, but it would be difficult to get the kind of the wispiness of the two layers kind of coming together as the way that, I don't know. I can't describe it.
Seamless and clean. It was nice.
Anyways.
But yeah, I get all my Damascus stuff from a guy with the power equipment to make it. And then I just get it in and billet.
That's pretty much why I've decided to switch gears from thinking I was going to make my own, because what's the point now? There's so many people out there selling affordable Damascus. It's like...
Yeah, it's like trying to make your own like micarta and stuff. It's like, if you want to have all that set up and spend all that time doing it, and then, you have the control over it and you can do it all pretty quick, but there's so many guys supplying that stuff, and they do such a good job because they're set up to do that one specific thing.
Yeah.
It's like, let them do it. Support those guys.
Exactly. It's like, save that for something else. Save that space and tooling for something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to do stuff completely in-house once in a while or whatever, but when you're trying to make a go of it, trying to make a living at it, you really gotta look hard at what parts of the process are worth it for you.
And there is some value in being able to say, I made the steel, I made the handle material, and I made the blade. But how much of that value is feasible for everybody? Speaking of Tobin, I mean, we're talking about Nick a lot on so far, but he does that. He makes the steel and everything, but for him, it works.
Yeah, if you can charge for it.
Noah, sorry,
I'm sitting right here, man. Come on.
And Noah makes his own steel too, and it, I mean, if you're only doing one-offs, then it could be feasible if your market fetches the money that you need to get to make it worth it.
That's right. It's all going to make sense.
The difference in my situation is that I just make knives for fun, basically. Like, yeah, I do sell my knives, but like I have a miserable day job that pays my bills, and my knives just fund more knives. So, but that's what allows me to do the stuff that I like doing, which is making Damascus and forging blades that don't necessarily need to be forged, just because that's what I love. I love trying to make new patterns, and I love trying to think outside the box and create new things. And my income doesn't depend on it, so I can, that gives me the freedom to do it.
I was just going to say, you've got that freedom where it's not dependent. Your mortgage isn't dependent on selling those knives. So you get to kind of do a little more of whatever you want.
Absolutely. And right now it's taking a few less custom orders.
Right?
Because
did you have a this or that lined up for Mr. Mike Jones?
I do not have a this or that lined up for Mr. Mike Jones, and that's because I'm in the process of working on some stuff for you lovely listeners. I do have some pretty good Florida Man stories, though, if we wanted to switch gears into that.
Sure, we could do that early. Why not?
Why not? Let's just go ahead and do it.
Why not? Why not?
So this is some classic Florida Man, and all of these stories that I'm about to read are real stories that happened. And you guys just have to guess whether this was a Florida Man story that was truly from Florida. And here we go. Our first headline reads, Rattlesnake bites man who tried to kiss it. A man was in critical condition after he tried to kiss a rattlesnake, but was bitten instead, authorities say. A friend of the victim said that he had been drinking while handling the seemingly calm snake, but when he moved toward the reptile as if to kiss it, the snake bit him. Do you believe that this lover of snakes was a Florida man or somewhere else?
Do they have rattlers in Florida?
That's what I was thinking. It sounds like...
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Okay.
That sounds more like Texas, man, or something.
I think rattlesnakes are pretty much in... Aren't they in all states?
We don't have them.
You don't have them in Maine?
No, we have nothing poisonous here.
I think we have some in the drier areas of British Columbia up here.
We got them here.
I'm saying no. I think that's from somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Mike.
You guys are both going to go.
I feel like if they were kissing an alligator.
Yeah, or a boa constrictor or something.
Yeah, because I know they got problems with boas.
Okay, you're both going not Florida. That was indeed Florida, and that story is courtesy of our very own Luke Johnson. So thank you very much, Luke, for that story. Luke. I got to tell you guys, but like before I get into this next story, I have gotten some freaking stories. So we're actually going to do, I don't have it like printed out and everything all nice and neat, but I've got some stories that I need to get like out. So for those of you that are patrons, you need to listen to the after show, because I have some non-main show rated stories that have been sent to me that are too good to just ignore. Like sometimes people send me stuff and it's like, okay, yeah, that falls in the cannibalism or incest region where we're not going to put that on the show. But they've been sending me some really good ones that are like, that's just a little bit too awful to put on the show. So, but it's not too awful to read on the after show. So those of you that are interested, for some really hilarious, really messed up stories, you're going to have to get over onto that after show. All right, next up. Drunk driver with blood alcohol content 9 times above legal limit breaks U.S. record, gets more than a year in jail. Nathan Danzuka, 28, blew a 0.778%, breaking the standing record for highest blood alcohol content. Police recalled when he was accused of leaving the scene of an accident. Booze containers were strewn throughout the car when he was pulled over at 1 p.m. on Friday. Police said that Danzuka sped away when he was asked to get out of the car for sobriety testing. After just a half mile, he slammed into a concrete divider. Danzuka, 190 pounds and 5'7", would have to have drunk around 30 shots within a 3 to 4 hour range to reach that BAC.
They shouldn't advertise that there's a record for how drunk you can get.
Yeah.
0.77, pussy. I can beat that.
I beat that before. I was thinking the exact same thing. They should not let anybody know. Oh, that's the record? 9 times? Easy.
Yeah. And I will say this. I didn't write it down here, but the previous record that this guy beat was from the same state that this person is from.
Oh, that's Florida, man. I'm into that. Yeah, that's for.
Yeah, I'll go Florida. Florida.
I gotta say, if it's 2 consecutive records in a row for drunkest ever pulled over.
Final answer, both of you?
Yep.
Oh,
Jesus.
I'm sorry, guys. That is Oregon.
What?
And I had no idea that people in Oregon were drunk drivers to this degree. But yeah, there was all kinds of stats that were coming out of Oregon about how much people drink and drive there.
Well, that's strong craft beer, I guess.
Well, what I was thinking about has either one of you ever been to Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would drink too.
It's a beautiful state.
It's always it's like the west part of this state. It's always raining and it's cold and wet and depressing.
Yeah,
at least when I was there.
When I was there, it was beautiful, but I was only in Grants Pass, and then we drove straight south.
Okay.
I've been down through years and years ago before it got super hipster. I was down in Portland and Lincoln City and stuff, and it reminded me a lot of like Northern Ontario, like cottage country up around like the just all super nice forests and hills. But yeah, it's definitely right just south of Washington State, right?
Yep.
So it's Pacific Northwest.
I've only been down there a couple times, so I really don't know. I just like to insult the states around me whenever possible.
Oh yeah,
I mean, when I was in California, it was 15 years ago, and it was like coming from Maine to California. It was weird. Going to Humboldt County, California, too, where the hippies are. It was like I was in like a different planet. Like my manager didn't want me to wear deodorant because the fragrance of my deodorant offended her.
What?
It was the first time I had ever I had heard the term politically correct, and it was the first time I had ever been informed that you're not supposed to call homeless people bums. Because I said I was at work one day in a bread bakery, so we're all standing at tables shaping dough, and I was like, "Man, there's a lot of bums around here for such a nice area," and everybody like got all pissed off. You can't call them bums.
You wouldn't want them to get offended.
Yeah, they're the transient population.
Yeah, the unhomed or whatever they're called now.
Oh no, they're called houseless.
Houseless.
Yeah, I tell you what, or something like that.
They are houseless. I'll give them that.
There was some interesting looking homeless people when I was there. They didn't look like mentally ill or drug addled homeless. They looked like I'm doing something for the world, like virtue signally homeless. And like one of them was this hippie guy, and his whole beard was one dread. It looked like a fucking beaver tail.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Good
Then there was
God.
another chick who always had the same sign, and she was really kind of hot. And it always said, need money for guns and horses.
All right. Wow.
Mm.
That's one thing about northern British Columbia is not a lot of them survive the winters, so they don't end up having a huge population of the unhomed.
Yeah, they congregate here in the winter. They like huddle their tents together in the woods, and then spring comes around and the cops have to go clean them up.
Yeah, we get a lot of them burning themselves down in the wintertime as they try and have like kerosene fires or whatever in their little nylon tents. And it never goes well. I guess they don't really read the warning labels on those tents.
For the longest time, we had like a certain street. It was called Court Street in Bangor, Maine. And that was where all the homeless people went. All the houses were condemned, and they all just like lived in the houses and had barrel fires in the living rooms and shit. But they all stayed on Court Street. And then the city was like, fuck this, and they burned the whole street down. And
What?
yeah. They used every house. Yeah, they used it as a fire department training, quotes.
Wow.
They burned the whole street down, and they still haven't rebuilt. There's no houses on that street.
Dang.
Now they just pitch tents everywhere.
Yeah, it's becoming a problem.
Mm.
You guys want to do another story?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we went off tangents.
All right, I got one last one here. Here we go. Man settles race discrimination lawsuit, then bank won't cash his check, leading to another discrimination lawsuit. Santore Thomas sued his employer, alleging racial discrimination in a lawsuit that settled confidentially. Then he went to the bank this week to cash his settlement check, but the bank refused to cash or deposit his check. Instead, they called the cops and initiated a fraud investigation, action that dumbfounded Thomas and his lawyer, triggering another lawsuit.
Lucky guy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he's scoring big time on that discrimination.
Yeah. That's like winning the lottery twice.
So do you guys believe that this lawsuit inception man was from Florida or from somewhere else?
Fuck, I read that article and I can't for the life of me remember where he was from either.
I'm just trying to figure out if you would drop 3 non-Florida stories on us.
Oh, the first one was Florida, man.
Oh, was it? We just guessed wrong.
You guessed not Florida because of the rattlesnake.
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of head injuries.
Hockey.
I'm going not Florida, man.
I'm going to go Florida. And that way one of us gets it right.
Good call.
You just want somebody to get something right.
Yeah, we can't go 3 for 3 with the host and the guest. You're
not going to let me pitch a no-hitter?
Man, last time I crushed it, I feel like I think I did really well at this last.
If I remember correctly, yeah, you did. All right, that was a Michigan man.
Oh, B-Cone.
Yeah.
Shout out to B-Cone.
Mike Jones, I got one at least.
So me saying Michigan thinking of B-Cone makes me think of a conversation I had with Kyle Daly the other day about pizza. And
okay.
We were talking about because I said I like deep dish pizza because thin crust is more like a snack and deep dish is more like a meal. And he said that B-Cone likes Detroit burnt pepperoni pizza, which none of those things sound good to me. So if anybody can reach out to me and explain to me what burnt Detroit pepperoni pizza is, I'd appreciate it. But what do you guys like? You a thin crust guy? You a thick crust guy? You like meat lovers? Everybody's got. Oh, you guys got that weird Canadian bacon up there too, Mike.
Oh yeah, we do all kinds of stuff. We put pineapple on it sometimes on a Hawaiian.
You assholes.
I get down with the Hawaiian pizza every now and again.
Pineapple is an amazing, delicious fruit, and it has nothing to do with pizza.
Hey, you could say the same thing with tomatoes. They're a delicious fruit.
Mm-hmm.
No one would say that.
Okay.
I eat pickle pizza. I put pickles on my pizza.
Oh, we've got one here that's it's like what's a Cuban sandwich is like that with mustard and pickles and everything. They made that into a pizza, and it's really rich. But the dill pickle slices on top, really cut through the richness of all the meat and the heavy sauce, and it is fucking delicious. But you can only have like a couple of slices of that one. It's pretty heavy.
I would try that. That sounds pretty good.
I like pepperoni, bacon, and pickle.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I don't think I've ever had pickle on a pizza. I'm gonna have to try that.
It's good, man. It's good either way too. You can put cold raw pickles on it, or you can have them bake them on it, and either way, it tastes good.
Ooh, you could retrofit pickles on your pizza. It shows up if they don't offer it as a.
I've had like pepperoncinis, which are like pickled peppers. I've had those on pizza, but I've never had actual pickles. So sounds good. I'll try it.
I love pepperoncinis. I like hot food, and then I watched a competition show about eating hot peppers, and it made me not want to eat hot food anymore. It was fucking gross.
Do you guys watch that
Hot
First
Ones?
We Feast or whatever? The Hot Ones? Yeah.
Yeah, I love that show.
I haven't seen any of the recent ones, but yeah, it's a great show.
They've been getting some high end, like A-list celebrities on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun watching them cry.
Shaq was on there.
Yeah, I've seen the Shaq one. What gets me is the people that can just go through the whole line, no problem. Is it Dax Shepard and his wife? Both of them went on the show separate each time, and both of them were totally fine all the way up through the full lineup, and like no problem at all. And I just
that host has got to have like ulcers or something by this point. Like,
God,
dude does that all the time.
Imagine. Derek Lewis, the UFC fighter, was on there. The one who was like, "My balls is hot" in the post-fight interview. He went on there, and then he said he shit himself in the airport afterwards.
Oh man!
They got sued by Coolio.
What?
Coolio? Why? Yeah, Coolio. He claimed they were trying to kill him.
That's awesome.
Bill Burr was on it, and he did really great on it. He was fucking hilarious.
Aubrey Plaza, she didn't even flinch.
I believe it.
Yeah.
She's
the hot girl from Parks and Rec. Yeah, she didn't even flinch, went all the way through it. Theo Vaughn was on. That was a good one.
Oh, I should check that out. Okay, I got to watch that.
Yeah.
Alton Brown was a good one. Did you guys see the Alton Brown one?
No.
Do you know who Alton Brown is?
No.
He's a chef. He's on a lot of the Food Network shows and stuff. He hosts a lot of shows. But the dude was like critiquing the sauces and like the different flavors in them and stuff. Like not really considering them to be all that hot. He like at one point in time, he opened up one of the bottles and like took a swig out of it. It was hilarious.
That guy's got a funny personality.
Yeah, he does. And speaking of celebrity chefs, what's the name of the biggest chef in the world? What's his name?
Gordon Ramsay. I saw his episode.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
He said the F word probably 87 times in like a 20-minute show. It was crazy. He's at one point in time he's got like two of those little lemon squirt bottles, like squirting them both into his mouth, just dying.
He went scientific. He brought like donuts that were supposed to, because the sugar is supposed to be good to counter it. He brought like
ice cream.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff to try and counter that spice. Yikes!
You would think a guy like him would have a little bit more of a hot palate, but I guess maybe not.
He's English.
Yeah, I have a bartender friend who loves hot stuff, and he keeps a lineup of hot sauces. And I took the wife out to dinner. We went and saw him, and he had one called Devil's Blood, and it looked like blood, and he wouldn't let me try it. He's like, the last guy that tried it got a bloody nose. And we're too busy. Wow. He's like, we're too busy right now for you to get a bloody nose. I'm like, I ain't fucking drinking that. Give me a bloody nose.
I don't even really like hot stuff. I all those are just like, it's just an acidic burn. It doesn't, most of them, like, they don't taste great. It's just like how much acid how much poison can you put in your mouth?
Basically, yeah.
I'll take like a nice, like a well seasoned curry or something where it's like it's hot for a sec, but then it mellows out, goes away. Even like horseradish, I like horseradish because the same thing. Like it's hot, it tastes really good, and then it goes away as quick as it comes. It doesn't just linger and ruin the rest of your night.
I like spicy things for flavor, like Frank's Red Hot. I'll put Frank's Red Hot on anything, the original.
Yeah, Frank's Red Hot's good. I like sriracha. I like Cholula. That's my favorite. Most of the spicy stuff that I eat is all like Mexican food. So Cholula. I don't really like the flavor of Tabasco sauce. It's too vinegary for me.
It's like salt and vinegar.
Yeah, just like something that's got good flavor. Like it doesn't have to be overly spicy. I tried one of those.
I even like that Valentina's stuff. I call it Mexican ketchup.
Yeah, it's not spicy at all, but it has like some good flavor to it.
Yeah. My guts aren't set up to accommodate like super hot food. As hot as I can go with some jalapeno slices on nachos. If I go any hotter than that, even if I eat too many jalapenos, I'm fucking crying, dude. I'm like, oh my guts,
yeah,
it's horrible. Get lava poops. It feels like hot lava coming out of you.
Did I talk about the one chip challenge on the show? How like some of my coworkers did that?
No.
Okay, so in the area that I work in, I have a lot of Hispanic coworkers, and so a few of them decided that they were going to do the one chip challenge at lunch at work. And if anybody's not familiar with the one chip challenge, let me just break it down for you. It's a package that has one chip inside of it. Okay. And they do like a different one every year. The first year was pretty hot. And the challenge is you eat the chip and then you see how long you can go before you eat or drink anything else. Like how long you can handle the spice. Well, this last year was pretty intense. Like the chip is like electric blue. Okay. And I'm sitting here with, 3 or 4 Hispanic dudes that I've seen eat stuff that I couldn't touch. And they're just eating it like it's nothing. And I mean, granted, I'm a bit of a sissy when it comes to hot stuff. Like sriracha is the hottest thing that I would really comfortably eat. And I'm seeing these 4 guys basically crying, like just absolutely dying. And one of them reaches for ice cream within like seconds after eating this chip to just try and get the burn to go away. But the worst part is it doesn't just go away. Like these guys were dying all afternoon. One of them had to go home early because they couldn't handle it so much. And the next day they were still hurting. Like their insides were not happy about what happened. And so there's the one guy that I work next to, Soapy. We've asked him multiple times, like, hey, how much money would it take for you to do that again? And we haven't come up with a number to where he'd be willing to do it again. It was that bad.
Wow.
That doesn't sound like a good time to me at all.
I actually saw on the news, it's been sending people to the hospital. People have been having like heart attacks from this one chip challenge. Like it's some serious stuff. It was in the millions of Scoville. I don't know exactly what the number was, but the Scoville units that they use to measure how hot stuff is, it was in the millions. It was nuts.
My brother Richie that I do the bro down with, him and our buddy Adam that draws penises on everything. Yeah. They did the ghost pepper chili challenge where you chew a ghost pepper for 30 seconds and then swallow it. Richie, I think one of them threw up. The other one pounded a half gallon of milk and then threw up and like had to Richie called out of work for like 3 days. Like
3? Jeez.
He's a bit of a sissy pants, but he was pretty fucked up from it to the point where I'm not going to do it.
No.
Yeah. Nah, I'm good.
No, you don't need that. That's poison.
Why would you torture yourself? Well, like, so one of my buddies got one of the sauces that were in the hot ones lineup, and I mean they change it every year, so I couldn't tell you what year or anything, but it was right in the middle. So not too crazy, like their last dab or whatever that looked like absolute hell on a chip, but it was like right in the middle, so pretty hot. And I ate some of that on a chip, and the flavor was awful. Like it was just like a mustardy, nasty burn. and then it's just pain. Like it doesn't. It's not even like a spice or like a burn. Your mouth just hurts. It doesn't. There's nothing enjoyable about it. Like it's just pain. It just hurts.
Yeah,
That's all.
I don't know. Some people are masochists, I guess.
I guess so.
That not for me.
You just gross me out with that mustard flavor. I like regular mustard, but spicy Dijon mustard is nasty and can go fuck itself.
I like the spicy brown. I don't like Dijon, but the spicy brown mustard, that's some good stuff. I put that on hot dogs and brats.
Maybe I'm turned off because
little Dijon, or like you get the grainy stuff and you mix it with mayonnaise. It makes a really good dip.
Mm-hmm. You remember those commercials that they used to like just plague us with as kids? The Grey Poupon.
The Grey Poupon.
The Grey Poupon.
That was one of my favorite parts of. Did you guys ever watch Fresh Prince when you were kids?
Yeah,
of course.
So there's this one part where Will's trying to like pretend that he's not getting all high and mighty from living in Beverly Hills, and him and what was his cousin's name? I can't remember. Carlton, thank you. Him and Carlton basically ask the butler to make like the same sandwich, but they ask him in like different ways. Like he makes him a sandwich. He's like, "Man, you gonna stiff a brother on the Grey Poupon?" And that's like stuck in my head. Like anytime anybody says Grey Poupon, I think of Will Smith saying, "You gonna stiff a brother on Grey Poupon?" Every time.
That was back when he was like not a douche.
Oh, remember when he was funny?
Yeah. He had his heyday when we were growing up.
Out your mouth. Sorry, was that too far?
No, that poor guy ruined his own career. He should just divorce that bitch.
Yeah.
Poison bitch. She's terrible. Let's play an ad.
Let's do that.
Hustle and Grind is sponsored by Maritime Knife Supply. Whether you're looking for steel, abrasives, handle material, forges, epoxy, or anything for making in general, Maritime Knife Supply has you covered. And in the US or Canada, they ship faster than the great Cobra chicken goosesses that their country is known for. Go to Maritime Knife Supply, and when you buy a 10-pack of belts, get 10% off. And tell them we sent you, eh?
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. Luke will be on soon.
Yes, you guys will actually get to hear.
I like those Maritime Knife guys. That Lawrence, good dude.
Yes, he is. We like them too.
He's got some is it the Max Grip? The Maximus Knives hand stamper jig?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? The Max Grip?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's got a bunch of those in stock. So if anybody's out there hand stamping their Maker's Mark, go check that out. I saw he
just got
about that a while ago.
He just got a re-up of Baker Fortune Tool Damascus.
Ooh.
There was something else he's carrying now that I've been meaning to grab. Oh, what the fuck is it? I'm such a bad sponsored guy.
He's doing really good about bringing in the stuff that people actually want.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, he's one of the very few. Like I've dealt with a lot of companies over the years with different industries and stuff, but Lawrence is by far the most responsive as far as, hey, if you carry this, we'll buy it, and he does. Like he listens. It's pretty awesome.
He was even buying off of other like makers. Like he started carrying, like you say, that Damascus. He starts carrying like guys' handle material. He's supporting everyone who supports him as well.
He expanded out. Other than Baker Forge, he's got Dama Steel now. He's got Dama Core, which looks super badass. And
that's that stainless Damascus, right?
Yeah. Baker Forge Tsunami. But he sells everything. Tools, ovens, grinders. Oh, cant twist clamps. The cantilever clamp.
Ah, that's what it was, yeah.
That's what it was. And they're not bad. They're $25 a piece.
What's a cantilever clamp? What am I not?
one of those.
Oh, I made one of those in school when I was going through school for machining class.
Yeah.
I think I still have
he's got different ones. He's got 1 inch, 2 inch, 2.5, 2.5 with a different jaw style, and then a deep reach welding one.
Deep.
All different prices.
Deep reach.
The deep reach one is $60.
Right on.
That's the most expensive one on there.
I sprung for a couple of... Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying I sprung for a couple of real good welding clamps last time I was at we got Princess Auto up here, which is basically like Harbor Freight. And they have those really nice big ass welding C clamp or the F clamps, and they have one that's got like the ratcheting lever action instead of like the
squeeze ones.
No, yeah, I guess technically it's sort of a squeeze one, but it's huge, and you just ratchet the thing forward and closes up super quick. I use it for clamping anything I'm cutting to my table.
Oh, nice.
They're quick and strong.
Yeah, I love those squeeze clamps. I use those for all my glue ups and everything. Just got that little ratchet mechanism in there. They pop off really nice and fast. I use them for all kinds of stuff. They're great.
Oh, like the pistol grip clamps.
No, like the ones that are basically kind of like pliers, but they have the movable little fingers, and it's got a little ratchet in there, and you squeeze it, and it closes up.
Oh, yep. I use a lot of the pistol grip clamps, like they're going out of style, because I'm doing hidden tanks, so I have to cut slots in the jaws.
Right. Yeah.
And then they break, and you can't buy replacement parts for Harbor Freight clamps, so I just throw them away. So you just
go buy another one for $6, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Harbor Freight's for. Is when you need to buy a tool that you know you're going to take an angle grinder to immediately when you buy it. You buy it at Harbor Freight. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. I like F clamps. I'm a big proponent of 4-inch Bessie F clamps for my glue and my handles, and then I got some longer ones for a lot of hidden tank stuff. I got like the 16-inch or 18-inch or whatever they are for doing hidden tanks, but they're metal, and I don't want to cut a slot in them for doing that.
Yeah.
I like rig up weird pieces of wood and stuff on either end and try and clamp it all together and hope I'm not bending anything funny. It's janky and it works.
Good enough.
Janky shit works for sure.
It's not stupid if it works.
That's right.
All right. Well, I wanted to ask a quick question to you, Mike, here. We talk a lot about a lot of random topics on this show, but I wanted to get kind of specific. Where do you see yourself growing your business? Like, let's just say like the next year or next 5 years, if you have like a 5-year plan or something like that. But what steps do you think you feel yourself making in the future to ensure that your business continues to grow? Obviously, you're a full-time maker, so it's a little bit different than part-timers like me and maybe a lot of our listeners as well. But where do you see yourself going in the next, 1 year, 5 year, whichever you prefer? And what steps do you see yourself taking to ensure that you're not beholden to an algorithm, or that you're a little bit more, I don't want to say recession proof, but more insulated from any sort of any of the kind of turbulence we see in the world today?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the question that's kind of should be on everybody's mind right now, is the future. It always gets a little tricky, especially when, making handmade knives, it's definitely a commodity, and one of the first things that goes when people start tightening up with their pocketbooks. So it's not like we're, selling food or gas or something like that everybody needs no matter what. So it's tricky to try and, like you say, insulate yourself. Just around here, we're kind of expanding into being a little more independent as far as like growing a lot of our own food and stuff. We got a bunch of pigs this year, and we got chickens, and last year we did cows. We got a little bit of property up here, so we're trying to make that work for us a little bit. But in reality, you're never going to be fully independent unless you got 2 people full-time jobs gardening and stuff up here. And
yeah, of course.
Obviously, our grow season's not super long either. So as far as like making knives, it's always just been about staying kind of flexible. moving with kind of the market. Not so much being dependent on like trends, but being able to at least capitalize on stuff like that. And just trying to not be so stubborn that I'm only going to make this one kind of knife because that's what I do. And, it's what's worked for me for the last 5 years. So it's going to work for the next 5 because you never know. Right. And, trying not to put all your eggs in one basket as far as social media. So trying to expand out of that and doing things like a mailing list, newsletter mailing list, or just finding other ways to market. I've got that sort of semi-production line I've been doing with the MJ series, where I get as much of it outsourced, as much of the work outsourced as possible, and then I'm just left, grinding bevels and putting handles on and doing all the hand finishing myself. And I even outsource the sheaths to Comox Custom on Vancouver Island. And so just, outsourcing as much of that as I can for that specific line so that I can keep the price point down and it's a more repeatable product. So I've been trying to kind of market that out to some stores a little bit and see if I can get into a little bit more of a consistent turnover or a consistent buyer in some shops like that. Just, things like that, just trying to think outside the box a little bit, recognizing what's working and stopping what's not working. I was talking to this entrepreneur guy one time who kept using this phrase that I thought was really smart. And he kept saying, fail fast. So like, don't just keep pumping money and time into something that's slowly failing. That's all just wasted. If something's failing, be able to cut that off, fail fast, and move on to the next thing. So if something's just, if you got a style of knife or a specific model that you really think is awesome and you really like making it and you think it's super cool, but nobody's buying it, there's no point making them if no one's buying them. Right. So just, things like that, just trying to stay flexible and fluid. And as far as, man, my brother's in marketing and business and he would kill me for saying this, but I've never really had like a 5-year plan. And I've always felt so bad about, like, I feel like you really should have like a goal in mind, something you're driving towards, a vision board or, some bullshit like that. I've never had that. I've always had these little goals that I wanted to reach and things like that. But I wish that I had that kind of something that I'm pushing towards, to have that plan in mind, that 1 year, 5 year, 10 year sort of foresight, I guess. But for me, the only thing that I guess you always have little ideas coming up, but one of the big ones that I've always wanted to get into is making folding knives. So I think that'd be cool to get into doing some of that. But again, like we were talking about making Damascus and, what's cost effective. Building those folding knives by hand looks like a lot of work and a lot of very intricate, time-consuming work. And so it's it's going to be like starting from scratch all over again, figuring out all that stuff, all the mechanism, all the moving parts, where do you get hardware for all that stuff, and what works, what size you need, all those different things. It looks daunting to me. So one day when I've got the patience, I'm hoping to get into folding knives eventually.
Yeah, I've always felt like there's more of a lasting market for folding knives. More people carry folding knives.
There's like the real like steel dorks and stuff, like the guys that love all those super steels and all those, the fancy materials, the titanium, the anodized titanium stuff and the carbon fiber and everything. There's a huge market for way overpriced knives. Problem is you got to really establish yourself. Like I've been part of a couple of Facebook groups that are into those, and guys are paying stupid money for these knives, and they've got thousands and thousands of dollars in collections of all these folding knives that just sit there and they don't ever use them. They're just collectors, right? But there's a massive collector's market over there. You just got to establish a name for yourself amongst those guys and get a foot in the door there, and you're good to go if you're making those super expensive high-end pieces.
When I first started making, I joined a Facebook group. I think it was called Knife Gods. And you weren't allowed to post a knife if it was under $400.
Get a life. Come on. Like
That's awesome.
How's that encouraging anybody to get into it? Like when I first started out, I remember selling a knife for $350 to this guy, and it was because it was a knife that I made and I wanted to keep, and it was super sick, and I really liked it, and it had all the bells and whistles of everything I had learned to do up to that point. And he was like, I put a picture up, and he was like, "Hey man, how much for that knife? I really want it." And I was like, "Oh, someone would have to offer me something crazy for that. Like I really want to keep it." And he goes, "What's crazy?" And I was like, $350. And he was like, "Done, sold." And I was like, "Holy shit, I just sold a $350 knife." You know what I mean? I'm like 3-4 years into it at that point. Like that was huge for me. And I mean, fuck, if there was a group of guys that wouldn't let you post a photo of that knife at that point in my knife making, I'd be like, why am I even doing this? I'm never going to be good enough for those guys. You know what I mean? That's so discouraging to knife
That was
makers.
like a collector's page, though. They were posting like, they were flexing on each other.
Yeah, dorks.
Yeah.
Hey, if they want to buy stuff, awesome. Pump money into the industry. Good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd also love to get into the folders. I've got a number of customers that have told me, as soon as you start making folders, I will buy one. And I've made a couple friction folders here and there. But I mean, if I'm not going to carry a knife, I don't really expect anyone else to. And it's like, I'm not going to carry a friction folder. Like I carry something that I can flip open with one finger, like that's not really interesting, or I don't know. It was interesting. It was a fun process to make, but when you're talking about a folding knife, you're expecting something that has like at the very least a liner lock or something like that. And you're right. I mean, it is very daunting. And you go on these websites that sell the hardware to make them, and everything's in, like down to the hundreds and thousands of an inch for detent balls and screws and all this stuff. And it's like, if I was going to go down this rabbit hole, I would have to go completely down this rabbit hole. And I got a list of custom orders that tells me I can't go down that rabbit hole right now. So
yeah, it's
eventually I will. World. But right now, that's a hard no, bud. So
yeah, it's a whole different world. And like you say, like you would need to devote a couple of months easy to just strictly, and I mean, I'm talking full time. You're part time too. Oh, yeah. So I mean, you got to devote a lot of time into and just be okay with you're about to make a lot of mistakes, and it's going to be frustrating
and expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Mike said, the hardware and stuff. I've been taking all of my folders apart lately, just to see how different ones work and whatnot. And in taking them apart, the two things that really seem the most like, how is a small maker going to pull that off is the springs, if you want a spring assist, which I do, and grinding blades that stop 3/4 of an inch behind the bevel.
That was
the Lord made vice grips for me.
That was the first time I thought, like, you got to have a jig at that point. I've never had a jig in my life to grind bevels. And that was the first time I was like, yeah, exactly. How are you going to hold on to that little thing? You'd have to build some sort of assistance.
I decided I'm going to make my favorite one that I carry every day. I'm going to make a different blade for it. And just to see.
Probably a good way to start.
Just see how it feels to grind something that short.
Yeah, so the way that I did it when I did it with a couple of friction folders is I just grabbed it with vice grips and ground the bevels and did all the grinding before I did any of the fine work for the the hole and the stop and everything for it. So there's ways you can get around it.
And the ball detent that's on these locks that lock up under your blade, how the fuck do they get those to stay in there?
Yes. That's the question.
Yes, that is the question.
I do not know.
I don't know. I have been really thinking that's the direction I'm going to go, and I'm not going to make Damascus. If somebody wants Damascus, they can just pay the extra and I'll buy it. And that way, I mean, I trust all these, like Timber Tiger Forge. I've used a few pieces of his stuff. Never found any D-Lambs or anything. Baker Forge, I've used their stuff. It takes the risk out of it for you. I mean, these guys know what the fuck they're doing, and that's all they do. You know, they don't make knives; they make steel.
Yeah, and it shows up like the stuff I get is surface ground, so it's flat. It's exactly the thickness I want. You can see he etches it, so you can see the pattern right away before you start working. It's just like it gets there and it's ready to go, no messing around. And all those guys, if you ever find a D-Lamb or something, you let them know. They'll be right on top of helping you out to get you a new billet or something, because they want you to be as happy as you want your knife customers to be.
Right. And I got a nice piece of Sami in the mail today, actually.
Oh, nice.
Did you now?
Yep, from Mr. Noah Blomberg.
Did you like the decoration on it?
What? Did you draw a dick on it? I didn't even notice.
You didn't unwrap it?
Oh, I unwrapped it.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Never mind.
You got to figure out how to do like dick pattern in Damascus or something.
Well, what I was going to say when you were talking about, he was talking about Timber Tiger and you guys were talking about Baker Forge and stuff is, that's kind of the difference between somebody who's, you're doing it for a business. You need a repeatable pattern and you need a consistent product that you can buy and offer to your customers. Whereas someone like me, I'm going on an adventure every time I make Damascus. I'm doing it for fun. I'm loving what I'm doing and I'm just having fun with it.
I just discovered the penis on my thing. That's damn, dude. You have drawn a lot of dicks. That's a very nice dick. That's very proportionate.
I hope that leached through into the pores of the steel. Goes up.
Dude, that happened to me one time. I wrote Bradford on one of the knives I was making because it's for my buddy Bradford. And then when I etched it, you could see Bradford in the steel.
Oh, that's kind of cool. If you did it on purpose, it'd be sweet.
Is this already annealed, Noah?
No.
Come on. Yeah, what you pay for, right?
I was going to anneal it, and I kept putting it off so long that like he was never gonna get it if I finally like actually took the time. So I just sent it to him and just got it over with.
Just gonna.
This is a piece of steel that we've literally been talking about for months, and I just finally actually got it to him. So I'm awful. I am terrible with that.
So
I'm doing a run of heat treats tomorrow. So
I missed that.
He said, "I'm not coming to you for my Sami."
No, please don't. No, customers' orders are a totally different thing. Like it's like a different part of my brain for some reason that goes to that. Like I recently did a run of little EDC knives, and every single one of those sold was shipped, like packaged and shipped within 24 hours. Just like out the door. And when I finish a customer's custom knife order, it's done. It's shipped as soon as it's done. Like that's totally different in my mind for some reason. It's just the way that my effed up brain works.
It bugs me when stuff's like sitting there ready to be done. Like I don't know if it's I'm a list guy. Like I love crossing things off of lists, and I just have the satisfaction of completing stuff, like tying up loose ends and striking it off a list is hugely motivating to me. And having things that work sitting there that could just get done, like it'll keep me up. I'll get out of bed at night and go into my office and pack up a knife and make a shipping label if it's sitting there needing to get done, because I won't be able to sleep if I know it's just sitting there. That bugs me.
Yeah.
There was this fucking I probably shouldn't call him out again. I bitch about him nonstop. But he was talking on a podcast, very popular knife podcast, about how he was bitching about his customers complaining that they bought knives off his website, like finished, ready to ship, for sale knives. And he was like, it takes me, it says right on my website that it takes up to 10 days to ship your knife, and it says so right there. And I had this guy complaining that it had been 8 days, and I still hadn't shipped his knife. And I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? The guy bought the knife. It's not yours anymore. It's his knife. Why are you still hanging on to it? Go to the post office. Like, that would drive me crazy. Like, if someone didn't ship something that I bought for 8 days, I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that one. I mean, if somebody bought a knife off of my website, I mean, I'm scrambling to ship it. Like I ship it the same day. If it's an already made knife,
so it might just be an English thing.
Well, we were talking about English people earlier not being able to handle the spicy food, so maybe that's a thing too. I mean, salt's probably too spicy for them. They like to eat plain peas that are boiled until they're mushy and disgusting. So
I brought that up with Honor on the Fire and Steel, that they have a reputation of having shitty food. And then in talking to him, we realized that we eat the same food here in New England. So we have shitty food also.
Self-burn. I like it.
Yeah. Potatoes and fish and chips and stuff.
I think we probably need to hear from our guys over there at Phoenix Abrasives.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Hustle and Grind podcast is sponsored by Phoenix Abrasives, your one-stop abrasive shop. When you go to phoenixabrasives.com, click the shop icon in the upper right-hand corner to find all the abrasives you'll ever need. Check out the Incinerator 36 grit ceramic belts, along with the Trizact Gator belts that the hosts of Hustle and Grind use every day. When you check out, use code HUSTLE10 for 10% off your entire order.
Thanks, Luke.
And actually, if you guys are on a Phoenix Abrasives mailing list, every so often, like for Mother's Day, they throw an 11% sale out there. So if you're looking to get a little more discount, get on the Phoenix Abrasives mailing list and get those notifications whenever there's a sale coming up. And this Mother's Day was one of those. And yeah, check out some stuff from Phoenix Abrasives. We appreciate you guys supporting the people that sponsor us. And I see you guys doing that all the time. So thank you very much for doing that. And also, shout out to all of the lovely people that support us on Patreon. I think we read you guys out last week, so we're not going to do it again this week. But huge shout out to all you guys that support us. We really appreciate that. It helps us get a little bit more motivation to keep going, and that's always appreciated. It helps pay the bills to keep bringing you guys content. And if you are a patron, you can listen to the after show where we're going to read off some crazy stories here. And we're going to actually talk about a little bit of work ethic is something that's going to come up in today's after show. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And if that sounds like something you'd like to listen to, you can go to patreon.com/hustleandgrind. And for as little as $1 a month, you can click that subscribe button, support us. Unfortunately, as soon as you click that button, someone that you hate in the world will suddenly get $1 million. But you'll be able to listen to our after show, and someone will die. But again, you don't know that person, so it doesn't really matter. You'll get to listen to our after show, and you get to support us. So
we'll get $1.
Thank you. What did
Not
I say?
$1 million, just one.
No. Someone else that they hate in the world will get $1 million. That's what happens when you hit that subscribe button. You know, whoever the person is that's hitting the subscribe button, someone that they hate, something really good will happen to them, but they'll get to listen to our after show, so it's okay.
Man, hopefully it's someone that hates me. Yeah. I need more people that hate me should sign up to your Patreon.
What do they say? All press is good press.
Yeah. I think I started a Patreon one time. I think I have one subscriber.
Man.
I was doing videos of, I only did one, and I need to do more of them. This was recently. And it was a Will It Bushfuck videos, and I just basically smashed things with my bushfucker.
Nice. You want to shout out your one patron?
Jess Lexick. She was the one who talked me into doing it, and then she signed up.
Oh, nice.
And she watched the one video I made, and I feel super bad because I hope she still isn't paying me.
Classic.
So,
all right, guys.
I wanted to bring up my raffle real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I just dropped a raffle, and So basically what happened was, I'm not looking for a pity party. I fucking hate pity parties, but I just wanted to be like clear with everybody what happened. So I had a couple $1,000 set aside for spending money for Blade. My tickets are already bought, my rental car is already bought, and lodging is already set aside. And then my dog got sick and passed away. And the vets, if your dog dies, they still charge you. So I ended up like spending all of it pretty much at the vet. So I'm just trying to recruit some spending money for Blade so I don't have to bum French fries off everybody. And yeah, so it's a 5-piece knife set, winner's choice of steel, mono steel. Everybody, don't be picking no crazy Baker Forge shit. Comes with a magnetic rack. You can choose wall mount, freestanding type of wood if it's available to me locally, whatever you want. And so that's going to run $10 a spot, unlimited spots until May 31st. And then I'll do the drawing from Blade Show. Or not at Blade Show, probably in the Airbnb with everybody. But yeah, so if you want to help, go find my post.
I didn't realize it was because your dog died. That sucks.
Yeah, it does. She was my homie. We had her for 10 years, and her decline was super fast. So
that's good.
She started showing signs like not eating as much around January. Bunch of different vet bills, and then we took her in. They diagnosed her with cancer, and then she just went. We went out to go pee later that night. This was 2 Mondays ago. And when I came to let her back in the house, she was only out there maybe 1 minute. She couldn't stand on her back legs. And I'm not going to do that. I can't fucking stand it when people like let their dogs suffer because they can't handle the pain of losing them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see dogs that are just like, kill me. And it's just, I couldn't do that to her. So
that's not fair. Yeah, we do that with people.
Yeah, we do that with people.
We lost one last summer. Same thing. She's probably 13. Our Husky Shepherd. She was our first dog we got. And she was just like, she was all personality. Like, dog people really loved her because she was like such just a great personality, and people who weren't dog people really didn't get why we loved her so much. She was like, she almost had like the personality of a cat, sort of like everything was just on her terms, right? She was part Husky too, so she was definitely a bit of a bitch. But once you like broke through that barrier and got any form of affection or anything from her, it was like the greatest fucking moment of your life, sort of thing, right? And same thing, like she was getting old, and then just pretty much in one night, she was just like, boom, like I don't know if she had like a heart attack or something, but she collapsed, and we were like, what the fuck? And then she had stopped breathing, and then she came to for a little bit, but couldn't like get up and move around. Like when she went down, like she went kind of like starfish, so she probably fucked her hips up doing that. And then like I couldn't get a hold of our friend that's a vet to try and do something. This was like in the evening, like 9:00 at night or something. So we were like, fuck, what do we do? And so we just kind of like kept her in bed and, did everything we could to make her comfortable. And in the morning, she was not better at all. And she had a really rough night. And so it was like straight to the vet, super quick, boom, done. But it was like the same way she died the same way she lived. Like basically she was like all good until she was just like, yep, I'm over it, done, boom, gone. So
yeah.
It's never easy, but George Carlin said when you're getting a pet, you're basically buying a small tragedy, which is true. It always ends terribly, but you try and focus on all the good times.
Yeah, for sure. She had a really hard beginning, so we always swore we would never let her suffer in her old age. But yeah, I mean, it sucks, dude. She was my homie. She was born in an animal horde, and her and her whole litter were never let out of a crate until they raided the house, and they were 4 months old. Like when we got her, she couldn't walk, and she was 9 months old. Wow. And she would just sit there and shake, and she turned into like years and years of me just like loving her and showing her like, you're fine. I couldn't count how many times I said, Carolyn, you're fine. Carolyn, you're fine. And throughout her whole life, because she would just like one time she was shitting outside and her poop broke through the ice underneath her, and it's like scared her to death. Whoa, I fucking ran back in the house. She's just terrified of everything because no socialization. But towards the end, I mean, she still showed like she would always take mouthfuls of food and carry them into the next room and eat them.
Oh, no way.
And then go back and get more and carry it into the next room and eat them, or like carry it up onto our bed. Our bed was her favorite spot.
Yeah.
Always. But so that's what the raffle's about. It's just trying to help me recoup my spending money for Blade. So I'm not like, bumming smokes and French fries and everybody off everybody. It's life. It's life. And I almost didn't even post about it when she was sick, but I was like so distraught in the moment. Like I felt like maybe it would make me feel better. But there's not a creature on this earth that's going to give me as much love as that dog gave me in the 10 years we had her.
Yeah. That's the problem. If it wouldn't suck so bad if they didn't mean so much to us, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful we got Vernon when we did, because if we didn't have Vernon now, I'd probably like really be in a deep depression about it. Our other dog wouldn't know what to do. And he was the last one. She was really good at teaching other pets the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the last one that she was like, yo, motherfucker, this is how you act. And he's such a good boy. He's a good dog.
We got the 2 puppies thinking the same thing, because we had the 2. And then when she was getting older, we thought like, oh, this other one, like she was like the mother figure to him when we got him as a puppy and everything. You just stuck right to her. And so we thought, fuck, like when she goes, he's going to need like a buddy. And so we went to go and find one, and we ended up coming with 2. And so we had the 2 puppies, and yeah, same thing. Like she would break them up when they were scrapping and stuff. And she totally policed all of them and everything. So we were lucky that she got a little bit of an influence on them before she went.
Yeah. Friggin' Georgia, my little beagle hound, everybody sees when they watch, because she'll come in and sit in my chair. She was limping the other day, and my heart stopped. I'm like, you fucking bitch. No fucking way. She's okay. She Superman's off the porch to chase the birds. And I think she must have just landed wrong. Like she can move fine, but if you squeeze her shoulder, she'll yelp a little bit. So I think she just like tore something or sprained it. She'll be okay. But
yikes.
I'm like, God damn, dog. And she's short too. So yeah, no more vet bills. I told her, I'm like, Georgia, if your arm's broken, you're dead. It's like, we don't have any money. You're dead.
My freaking dog,
he's goes super good.
I'm hoping so. Yeah. I sell a knife set for $1,200, so I'm hoping that's about what I'll be able to raise. I mean, it's short of what I was going to take to Blade, but that's okay. I mean, I have plenty of handle material here. I got knife steel up the ass. It's like,
it's about the experience.
Yeah, I have to like look for stuff to buy on the sites now because I've just got so much on hand because I hoard it.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
I don't know anything about hoarding. No. Don't know what you're talking about.
You'll actually probably see another post from me soon. Pickle told me to post some of my handle material. I think I'm going to listen to him. So I probably got 40 blocks stabilized, ready to go. I just got to clean them up.
Yeah, that's a good way for some quick cash.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, are you guys ready to go over to an after show, you think?
Sure.
All right.
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
We appreciate you listening. Everybody have a great week. I hope it goes well with you in your work.
Mike, thanks for stepping in again. What's this, the third time on short notice?
Hey, I guess I'm always around. Thanks for having me back again. Thinking of me to ask.
Mike Jones, I asked you and I asked Noah Vachon, but I guess everybody in Noah's house is sick, so get well soon, Vachon household.
Absolutely.
And we're probably going to have him on again soon, probably late July. So,
right on.
Cool, everybody. Bye.